Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we had an interview with Jason from Cleverly Solved. They make the Flueblocker, the Chimney balloon, and the smoke pencil.
Cool.
Jason, how's it going?
Great, JC. I'm super excited to be on the show here today. I'm a listener and a fan of your show. As a matter of fact, I was just listening to the National Preparedness Month episode that you dropped not too long ago. And actually, what I'm on the show to talk to you about today kind of fits right into that as far as wildfire preparedness and outside chemical spill or accident preparedness, because our product that I'm talking with you about is an air sealing product for the home.
Your products are considered a chimney plug or a fireplace plug?
Yes, that's right. The chimney plugs and fireplace plugs that we sell, they're called the Flueblocker and the Chimney balloon. The Flueblocker and Chimney balloon basically are efficient, tight sealing chimney plugs that work in conjunction with a damper or in lieu of a damper to seal it off nice and tight so that you can keep out cold drafts, fireplace or chimney smell. Sometimes people have trouble with bats and bugs and that type of thing coming in through their fireplace or noises like bird noises or airplane noises, and it helps with all of those things.
Are there a lot of fireplaces without a damper?
From my experience, fireplaces without dampers are many times older construction or custom construction, where you have, say, a house that's 100 years old or older, or you have a custom-built house where, they did a big stone fireplace but just didn't trim it out with a traditional metal damper on the inside.
Can you describe what the Flueblocker is?
Basically, it's a thick wool pad made with herdwick wool. Has two handles attached to it. If you don't have a damper in your fireplace, you really can put it in anywhere. You're just looking for a spot that's nice and low that you can touch with your hand, that you can press it in there. If you do have damper or other hardware in the fireplace, on our website, cleverlysolved.com, we have kind of a step-by-step that shows you, okay, does your fireplace damper look like this or does it look like that? And you can kind of click through and select, and then it shows you where to measure and how to install it. Because if you do have hardware in there, sometimes you're going below the hardware, sometimes you're going above the hardware. It all depends. There's I would say about maybe 14 to 15 different styles of fireplaces and dampers. And it all depends on if you have like a small zero clearance fireplace or a little old coal burner from, ye old days, or if you have a big custom masonry fireplace. That's why we make them in a number of different sizes and configurations. The nice thing particularly about the Flueblocker is you can also trim it to fit. If you buy one that's a little bit too big, or you need to cut it to a trapezoid or some kind of weird rhombus type shape, you can get it to fit pretty near anything.
Interesting. I saw a wide range of sizes and shapes on your website, but if you have an unusual fireplace, do you create custom Flueblockers?
Yes, we do. We've made custom Flueblockers as big as 4 foot by 8 foot.
Wow.
Those are few and far between. That's not every day that we have a big one like that. But yes, we do custom sizes as well. And honestly, those are the houses where you really notice a huge difference. You can imagine a door size opening just being open all the time, the amount of air that escapes out of something like that.
Now, why did you pick wool for the Flueblocker?
Wool has very unique properties to it. It's an excellent air sealer and an excellent insulation. That's why you'd notice in old stories that go way back, sailors would use peat coats made out of wool because they could be in the Arctic Ocean on the bow of a ship and, wear this heavy wool peat coat and not freeze to death out there because it keeps the wind off and it also insulates all in one. The particular wool that's used for the Flueblocker is a herdwick wool that really only comes from Cumbria, England, and it has some anti-moth properties to it. It's a very dense wool and rather rigid, but it also has a very thick grain to it, so it's hard for moths to be able to get it into their mouth. To make the product even more moth resistant, there's actually a plasma treatment It's not a pesticidal treatment or anything like that. It's just a treatment that's done during the felting of the wool that makes it non-nutritive for moths to even eat it. So it doesn't really repulse them, and it just doesn't attract them like wool in your closet might.
So this is all natural. There's no toxic chemicals?
Yeah, no toxic chemicals to it. The handles that go onto it are plastic, but
Sure.
the pad itself is 100% felted wool, no chemicals to it whatsoever.
So the Flueblocker could close off an ornamental fireplace if it's not being used regularly or at all?
Yeah, fireplaces are really kind of bizarre things to still have in houses. 18 million houses in the United States have fireplaces in them, and they're a millennia old technology that really are not very useful for heating houses anymore. They actually operate at a negative efficiency. For instance, in the summertime, you've got your house all buttoned up and all the windows are closed and the doors are closed. You got your air conditioning on. Sometimes the HVAC system can create a negative draw on the house. Either that or when you're using your clothes dryer or when you're using your bathroom vent fan or kitchen vent fan. Anytime you've got a device in your house taking inside air and chucking it outside, it's creating a vacuum situation. So in the summertime, what that chimney is doing, because the damper is leaking, it's grabbing outside air from the roof, which is one of the hottest spots you can find around your house, and drawing that down into the house. And oftentimes you'll find that there's a smell that comes along with it, because it's taking that hot, humid air and dragging it past all of this ash and creosote and everything, and snorkeling all of that right up into the house. So a lot of times people will buy a chimney balloon or a Flueblocker from us in the summertime to stop that from happening. I had mentioned before about bats and bugs. That's also a summer thing. Like bats and bugs and birds, they're always trying to find ways to get into houses. The chimney is one of those penetrations that they like to try out. In the wintertime, you kind of have a different thing happening. The house is likewise still closed up. You've got the heat on, and heat naturally wants to rise. In a house, it's called the stack effect. It's where heat is wanting to find the highest point to go out, and it will find that fireplace to go out through. But you also have this situation in which the chimney is basically this uninsulated brick structure or metal structure sticking up into the sky, and it's conducting cold and allowing cold through. So you've got a column of cold air that also wants to come down and sink into the room. And likewise, that column of cold air wanting to come into the room can bring those smells with it. So that's the key to Flueblockers and chimney balloons, is they're a low, tight seal to keep that outside air from either sinking down into the house or getting drawn and sent up out of the house. Now, not many people know this, but the U.S. Department of Energy did a study that shows that 14% of air leakage in a home that has a fireplace happens through the fireplace just by itself. We've done third-party tests with energy raters with their own blower door systems and verified that. It is about 14 to 15%. And using our product to seal it off, we've found that you can oftentimes get a 14% to 15% gain in your test results with that.
Interesting. What are the differences between the chimney balloon and the Flueblocker?
The chimney balloon is actually a product that we've had for a long time. It was the one that I first initiated, way back in 2005. That is a multi-layer kind of inflatable bladder that goes into the fireplace and air seals, insulates in one shot. Again, we make them in a number of different sizes, and they kind of have a nice safety feature to them because the membrane that it's made out of is heat reactive. So if you do accidentally light a fire underneath of it, it will burst the balloon, shrink it, and allow it to drop down and out of the way. So sometimes if people have a property like an Airbnb or a rental or something like that, they'll opt for a chimney balloon rather than a Flueblocker because of that kind of safety device to it. Now, the Flueblocker being wool, it doesn't have that property to it, but it is much more durable. So especially if you have a fireplace that you really don't use that much, or maybe you use it around Christmas time, but you want to be able to seal it off for the times that you're not using it. Or say, your house has a situation where you do use the fireplace, but afterwards you tend to get the smoky smell just sticks around for weeks afterwards. That's perfect for the Flueblocker because you can pop that in there. It'll seal that off nice and tight so you don't have all of the surface ash and creosote and all of that breathing into your house.
Should a homeowner add a ribbon or something hanging off the handle to remind you to remove the chimney plug?
Yeah, actually, we include that with every Flueblocker that we sell. There's a little chain with a reminder tag that hangs down. Say if someone really wants to put their Flueblocker up into the flue tile, which is, up above the damper, up above the smoke chamber in that higher area, and use extenders to get it up into there, that's possible. They can do that. They would just take that little chain and tag and put it down in the firebox. And that comes with both the chimney balloon and the Flueblocker.
How long does the Flueblocker last?
The testing that we've had done on it gives it about a 20-year lifespan. That's figuring for about 300 installs and uninstalls. Now, if you're just putting it in and leaving it in, honestly, you could leave it for decades and, you're not going to wear it out. That's another advantage to the Flueblocker is that you don't really have to double back in it and check. Whereas the chimney balloon, I generally recommend every 6 months, 12 months. About the same time you would clean out your gutters is a good time to check a chimney balloon. Just make sure it's topped off with air and is in there nice and tight. You don't want it to get loose and start shifting around in there. You want it to stay nice and tight.
How do you inflate the chimney balloon?
The chimney balloon comes with a 2-foot-long inflation tube that connects to the handle valve, and that hangs down into the firebox. If it turns out that you need a longer inflation tube, say you're putting the chimney balloon up a little bit higher and need one that's a little bit longer, you can always just ask for a longer inflation tube. We throw that in for free.
So are you blowing this up through the tube or using a pump?
Oh, yeah. Most of the time people inflate them by mouth, but if you have a big, say, like our 36 by 15 chimney balloon, that's a pretty good sized pillow that you're inflating there. If you happen to have an airbed inflation pump or even a shop vac that you can kick into reverse and kind of use your hand as a rough adapter to the inflation tube, either one of those work just fine. The only thing that I don't recommend is an air compressor because the chimney balloon only handles maybe 1 to 2 psi before it really starts stressing the seals. It's just not made for that kind of thing.
Okay. Do you inflate the chimney balloon first, or do you put it in place and then inflate it?
Yeah, most of the time with the balloon, you're tucking it into place while it's still mostly deflated or completely deflated. And then you inflate it and it starts grabbing the walls. The one thing you don't want to do with the balloon is fully inflate it, then try and jam it into place. It's funny, it's not much to look at. It just looks like your average extruded plastic, but it was designed by David Woodman, British plastics engineer, and it's a multi-layer membrane. The reason we do that is because multiple layers hemmed together and heat melded together is more puncture resistant and more abrasion resistant than just your standard extruded plastic. But if you just look at it, it's like, well, that just looks like regular plastic. It's kind of like looking at a chunk of Gore-Tex. It doesn't look like much, but there's actually a lot of engineering that went into that.
Right. What's the warranty on the chimney balloon?
If you go onto our website with both the Flueblocker and the chimney balloon, we have a standard 1-year warranty. Most of the time, if somebody calls in, we'll just make it right for them. I appreciate our customer base, and I appreciate people reaching out to us and talking through their applications with us. So even if it's been a couple of years, we always take care of our customers.
Yeah, that's great. Jason, I saw you have a product called the Smoke Pencil. Could you describe that?
Yeah, the smoke pencil is a unique little tool. The best way to describe it is a little handheld battery-powered fog machine. It doesn't create a lot of vapor, a lot of smoke, but it basically takes a non-toxic propylene glycol or glycerin-based liquid, vaporizes it. Some of our customers buy one in conjunction with their Flueblocker or chimney balloon, so once they get it installed, they can kind of puff it around the fireplace and make sure everything's nice and tight. Once you get done with that, you can go over to your windows and puff it around the windows and see, do I have everything sealed up tight here? Do I need to redo some weather stripping? Likewise, you can use it on your doors. A lot of times people don't think that much about the pipe penetrations that come in through underneath their sinks. So if you open up underneath your kitchen sink and puff around there and see if you have outside air coming in. I call it the poor man's energy rating. You can take your clothes dryer and put it on fluff or no heat cycle, and then turn on your bathroom vent fans, so you create a negative pressure in the house. Those devices are taking your inside air and chucking it outside. Best to do this on a day where you're not losing all your air conditioning or all your heat doing this. Then you can use that smoke pencil to check all the places that you suspect you might have holes from the outside allowing air in. And that'll kind of educate you on where you need to use weather stripping or use a little bit of foam or caulk or something to close things up.
Would you know if there's any rebates available for purchasing products like yours to improve the energy efficiency of your home?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, JC, because there is a part of the IRA credit, kind of an income tax credit. It is a 30% rebate. You can find out about it at EnergyStar.gov. It's particularly the tax rebate for air sealing measures.
If a homeowner wanted to purchase your products, where would they go?
The best place to go is going to be our company website, which is cleverlysolved.com. That's going to have those tools that I was telling you about that show the different types of fireplaces. You can click on them and see which one looks closest to yours. We're also on our website running a promo just for Fix-It Home Improvement listeners to get a 10% discount. That discount code is FIXIT, FIXIT. And that, again, is for cleverlysolved.com to get a 10% discount. Now, we don't run discounts a whole heck of a lot. There's quite a bit of demand for our product, but we're doing that special for Fix-It listeners.
I appreciate it.
The other place to find the product, if you're a huge fan of Amazon or Walmart.com, those are places to purchase our product as well. Our seller name is Cleverly Solved, and it's specifically the Flueblocker or Chimney balloon. Those are our trademark names, so under those searches, that's where you'll find us.
All right, very good. I appreciate your time, Jason.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, JC. Like I say, I'm an avid listener and fan of the show, and it's a real joy to talk to you.
Thanks, Jason. This was fun.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, if you have a fireplace, they have some excellent products.
Or if you're looking for a holiday gift.
Well, what's interesting about their products is, like the Flueblocker and the Chimney balloon, you can use these summer or winter.
And they're giving our listeners a discount code. Has that ever happened before?
I don't think so. And the discount code, if you're on their website, cleverlysolved.com, it's FIXIT, FIXIT. And their website is cleverlysolved.com.
Oh, you got all the spelling in.
And if you're looking for their product on Amazon, Flueblocker is FLUEBLOCKER.
Cool. Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 17 on Amazon, and soon, book 18.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.